So the president of the NCAA, Mark Emmert, is resigning, stepping down, retiring, quitting, whatever you want to call it. I guess next summer. The sooner the better, Jack. Get to stepping. How you doing? Keep it moving. This guy, Mark Emmert, what a joke. President of the NCAA. You know what? He has a job title, president of the NCAA, whatever. He has a job title, but no actual job. The guy does nothing. The guy does absolutely nothing. He abdicates all of his responsibility. Think about how many different committees every time something comes up, there's a committee. Why? So that Mark Emmert doesn't have to do anything. He never makes any decisions. He's a complete paper tiger. He's a powerless joke. I don't even know why we need a person with the title president of the NCAA. And I've been banging on Mark Emmert forever. And I honestly, I don't know if it's a problem that's specific to Mark Emmert or if it's just that college athletics, particularly college football, has just outgrown the need for an NCAA president. Every once in a while, an issue or something comes around where it sure would be nice to have one person in charge to say, okay, this is the problem. This is what we're going to do to fix it. Now go do it. And he could do that in for a lot of issues and situations, but he doesn't. Why? He doesn't want the responsibility. If he doesn't want to make a decision that someone disagrees with, well, you shouldn't be in a position of authority if you're afraid to make any authoritative decisions. The guy's a complete clown. He's a shit show. I'm glad he's retiring, and I'm glad he's quitting. You take the whole NIL deal and athletes getting money, whether it be in the case of NIL from private individuals, businesses, or charities, or whether it comes down to the debate of whether or not schools themselves should be paying the athletes. Can anybody tell me what Mark Emmert's opinion is on any of that? The biggest issues in college football today, whatever you think those issues are, NIL, transfer portal, targeting rule, whatever you think the biggest issues are in college football or the NCAA, can anybody tell me what Mark Emmert's opinion is on any of those issues? I'll tell you what it is. He ain't got one. He doesn't have an opinion on any of those issues. You take NIL. I want you to think about how dumb this is. If there's any body of people, if there's any group who is more worthless and does less than the NCAA, it's Congress. And what does Mark Emmert want to do? He wants Congress to decide everything for college football. What? You have to be out of your mind to think it's a good idea to get Congress involved in college football. They ruin everything they touch. The only group of people I can think of that know less about college football than Congress is Mark Emmert. But it's just, I don't understand this. But the whole NIL thing, Mark Emmert wants Congress to pass laws and regulations that dictate how everybody can do NIL. No, now we do need things to change with NIL or whatever issue you want to talk about. Yeah, there are things that need to be changed and modified. Congress does not need to be the one to do it. You know who does? The NCAA, and it needs to be at the direction of the NCAA president. Now, a lot of people cry and complain about Roger Goodell and the NFL commissioner. Well, let me tell you something about Roger Goodell and the NFL. The guy ain't afraid to tell you what he thinks. And when there's a problem, he proposes a solution. Everybody might not like the solution, but what did your mama tell you when you were knee-high to a grasshopper? You can't please everyone. You can't please everyone. And in my opinion, when it comes to making these decisions about college football, it shouldn't be about pleasing everyone. It shouldn't even be about pleasing anyone. It should be what's best for college football. You need somebody that's willing to put themselves out there and make tough decisions. And if the NCAA president ain't going to be the one to do it, then I don't know who the hell is. There's a committee for everything. They literally made a committee to see what we need to do about teams faking injuries. And they made a separate committee to figure out what we need to do about the targeting rules. Then they got the playoff committee. Now, So they have the College Football Playoff Committee, right? It's this group of mostly athletic directors from around the country. They start meeting every year around the middle of November or whatever it is, beginning of November, end of October, beginning of November, and putting out their playoff poll, right? They sit in a room all day Saturday and watch every game, and then on Sunday they put out their rinky-dink poll or whatever they do, right? The College Football Playoff poll, right? The College Football Playoff Committee, they're called. Okay, great. Amazing. Now, when it comes time to figure out what we want to do about expanding the playoffs, who do we use to do that? Does Mark Emmert do it? Does anyone know what Mark Emmert's opinion is on expanding the playoffs? Nope. Does he put the playoff committee that he already has in place in charge of discussing possibly expanding the playoff? No, he makes a different committee called College Football Playoff Expansion Committee. All Mark Emmert does is sit around all day making committees. Well, now you can retire to the Green Grove or the Villages or whatever retirement community you're moving to in Florida or wherever else. And maybe you can get on some kind of old folks committee. Maybe, you know what you can do? You can get on the Jello committee. That's right. You can get on the Jello committee. Your vote matters, Mark Emmert. You get to vote every Tuesday. What flavor Jello are we eating this week?